And if you have some extensive periods of unemployment on your resume, job gaps, you're not destined to remain jobless forever. Here with tips on how to explain away an employment gap is Tony Beshara. He is the president of Babich and Associates, one of our favorite go-to people on the topic of jobs. He knows a lot about how to get one. Tony, great to see you. We want to walk through some examples, right, of why you might have a gap in employment, and you're going to tell us how to talk to an employer about that, because you say you can't hide. Family needs. If I have to care for a child or an elderly parent, what do I do?
Yeah, and employers are very empathetic for that. They appreciate it when somebody has done that kind of thing. The important thing is that an employer is asking themselves, when you present that to them, is this, if I hire this person, are they going to stay with me? So what you have to explain is the illness in my family, we overcame that, and I no longer have to worry about that. The kids are gone, you know, they're raised, and I don't have to be concerned about that anymore, and so I can devote all of my time to work.
So a health problem, this happens to a lot of people.
Yeah.
They're afraid to tell anybody about it because, you know, you don't want the employer not to hire you because you have a previous condition, right? So what do you do?
Well, you have to be honest, and a lot of people will say you don't have to tell them what the illness was. But I guarantee you, if you don't tell them what the illness was, and that you've overcome it, and that you are healed, and that you can and are ready to go back to work, you won't get hired. Because they'll think, man, this person was out of work for illness. What happened? And if you don't tell them, well, I'm healed and I don't have that illness anymore and I'm free to work, they're going to wonder about it and they won't hire you because they'll be afraid of what you might have, or they'll be afraid that you'll get hired, you'll be there for 3 or 4 months, and then you'll be out for illness problems again.
They're going to assume you had cancer or something. Something super serious.
Yeah, exactly.
And you can tell them that you could show them the tests, right? That you're free and clear. What about people who go off, and I see this a lot, they go off to start a business, they fail, and then they want to get back in the job market.
Yeah, and you have to be real careful at this, because on the one hand, you don't want to present yourself as a poor business person, but on the other hand, you want to present yourself as a really good employee. So you say something along the line of, you know, I misjudged the market. It was an error in business judgment. I made a mistake. If I knew then what I know now, I wouldn't have done it. There was too much month at the end of the money. And I ran out of money and I wasn't able to, but boy, did I learn a lot doing that. And here's what I learned. And then you come up with 1 or 2 things that you learned that can carry over to their business. So here's why you ought to hire me. I know how to fail and I know how to get back on my feet.
That's awesome.
And here's what I learned, and I'll bring it to your organization.
Tony, the big kahuna of these things is obviously the layoff, because so many people got laid off during the Great Recession, and folks just don't know how to explain that. What do you say?
Yeah. Well, you explained that I miscalculated that too. I didn't know it was going to take this long to find a position. I was laid off with a number of people, but I'm coming back. I've been doing a lot of interviewing. It's not how far you fall, it's how you bounce, and I'm trying to get back and get in the game as fast and as best I can, and I'd love to go to work for you.
So one quick question before you go, because this all makes perfect sense to me. Because you want to, if you're straight from the employer from the get-go, they respect that, I believe that.
Yeah. Yes.
But do you put it on the resume? Do you put the explanation in the resume, or only in direct conversations with the employer?
With certain things like illness in my family, I took care of my family, an illness, my parents, they passed away. You could put something like that in there. When it comes to being out of work for 6 months or more, I don't think I'd put that in there. When if your business failed and you didn't make it, I don't think I'd put that on the resume, but I'd explain it once I got into the interview.
Tony, great job, my friend. I'll just add quickly on your behalf, you also say, never, never be negative. Great advice, Tony. Thanks for coming on. Have a great weekend.
Always a pleasure. Thank you.